You're talking about holiday homes, you're talking about holidays or going away or whether you'll get away. Dean has actually been away. He got away to Tenerife. Dean, when did you head over to Tenerife?
I came over on the start of February. So I came over for a week, and I've just been extending my trip as I go along, waiting for restrictions to lift a little bit back home so I can get back to work. But until then, I'm just going to stay here and enjoy myself, enjoy the bit of freedom that we have over here.
Okay, and just rewinding back, and what am I hearing there? I'm hearing a little bit of breeze.
I'm actually on the beach and you can hear the waves crashing.
Sunny Tenerife. So did you travel, like 7 weeks ago, did you travel on your own or did you travel with buddies or what?
No, I came over on my own. I knew a few people that were over here, a few friends, and there was no problem at all travelling over. Travel is allowed because, I mean, at the end of the day, if I wasn't allowed to travel, how did I get here? I certainly didn't swim. And it was just very straightforward, to be honest with you. I did my COVID test, which is a requirement by Ryanair, and filled out the relevant paperwork, and over I came. Simple as that.
So you rocked up to... Are you from Cork?
I'm from Cork, yeah.
So you rocked up to Dublin Airport, obviously. Did you get questioned? I mean, did anybody ask you why you were going?
There was a checkpoint. I was waved through the checkpoint. I was actually in a minibus because I did a park and ride. Okay, right. Got into the airport, going through where you scan your boarding pass. There was Gardaí there, and nothing. Not a question was asked of me. But I know that they were asking a few people afterwards, just where they were going, the purpose of their trip, and because I caught up with some folks, and they told me they told the guards they were going on holiday, and that was it. No problem.
So I think some of the people who travelled said to you that they had been stopped by a guard and they were telling the odd person that you might get a fine when you came back or something like that, was it?
That's right. There was one guy in particular. Now he's back and forth every few weeks, right? And his wife and kids are over here. And in fact, they went home for a break for a week, came back again, and the husband is back and forth himself because he's got business back home and he's just enjoying the flexibility of being able to come back and forth. Now, he told me that the Gardaí did pull him aside, took his passport details, and said to him, "You might get fined on your return to the value of €500." And he stood there and he was like, "Okay, like, can I still go through or what?" The Garda told him to enjoy his holiday. Not only did he say enjoy a holiday, he also said to him, if you get the fine in the post, you can return it and just let them know what the purpose of your trip was. Almost like a wink-wink type of situation, you know. And I haven't met anyone yet that has actually physically received a fine in the post.
Okay. I wonder how does he feel about the fact that he's going over and back regularly, while everybody else, or indeed yourself to some extent, to a lesser extent, I think, about everybody else here stuck to 5 kilometres?
Well, look, I understand people's position back home. Everyone has their own kind of opinion on the way the situation is and the restrictions in place. I feel sorry for some of my family members that are taking it quite seriously. But for me, why would I stay at home and listen to the government constantly instilling fear into people's lives?
Yeah.
Through lies and manipulation, when I can be over here living off my well-earned COVID money. It was a no-brainer for me, Neil, to be honest, and I say it's the same for everyone else that's coming over here on holiday, because that is what we're here for. I'm here on a holiday, and it's an extended holiday, and I'm having a great time.
I think people will freak out when they hear that you're on the PUP, though, and that PUP is financing the holidays in Tenerife.
Well, do you know what, Neil? I've had an over-average income for a long time. I'm in various businesses. I paid an awful lot of tax. I wasn't willing to shut down my business. I'm willing to work. The government made a decision to shut us down. I'm well entitled to recoup some of my losses through loss of earning based on the government's decision to shut the economy down, which has proven to be inefficient altogether.
Well, that's probably very true in the sense that you've paid an awful lot of tax with your business working in construction for years and you're just getting back some of the benefits of your taxation. Are there many people in Tenerife now, say from Ireland, from Cork? Are there many other people in the same scenario as you?
Tourism, well, this is my first time in Tenerife. Tourism has dropped significantly by all accounts, and a lot of the larger resorts are actually closed. Now, there are a lot of resorts, as in like hotel/apartment complexes with pools and stuff, family-friendly type setups. There's still a lot of them open, but the majority of them, I think, the larger ones are closed. There are this particular beach I'm on here now in Las Americas. There's plenty of people on the beach. I mean, now loads. I have a car rental here, and I couldn't find a parking spot anywhere. I had to park over a kilometre away from the beach. So there is quite a lot of people here on holiday and stuff.
Yeah, but are they Irish? Are there a lot of Irish people doing the same as you?
There's a good few, but there would be more British.
Okay.
Over here, yeah. But again, they're probably going to be. I think they're referring to them as swallows because they come in for a few months and they're gone. And now with Brexit and everything, it's going to be more difficult for them to stay here as long as they normally would. But there are a lot of English-speaking holidaymakers here. Yeah, not so much Irish, mostly British.
And how do you spend your days? I mean, you're 7 weeks into it now on your own. I think you said you had some friends, but talk us through your itinerary on a daily basis.
The daily itinerary. Okay. So morning, hit the gym, get a bit of cardio in, and then a bit of breakfast, then go down to the beach, grab a bit of lunch. I'm renting an apartment over here, so I'll go back and I prepare a lot of my meals, to be honest. I'm not eating out all the time. I couldn't afford it, to be honest. And then later I will, if I don't go back to the beach, I might go to the gym again later on. I might do a bit of surfing, I play tennis, do a bit of hiking. Any activity you can imagine you can do here on the island. And I've pretty much done all of them at this stage, including off-road buggy tours up the mountain, and stuff like that, and it's actually not that expensive. So there's plenty to be getting on with during the day.
And is it all
activities mainly?
Is it all sanitize up and wear masks and social distancing? And what's the story with pubs and restaurants?
So you are required to wear a mask all the time, even when you're walking down the street, even when you're in the gym, believe it or not. But most people just have it kind of down below their chin. But the minute you see the police or the civil guards coming towards you, the mask goes up quickly, you know, and as soon as they're gone out of sight again, the mask is back down, because the majority of people here are not buying into it, to be honest. Although the government have insisted that mask wearing is mandatory everywhere, and you do see people wearing them, most people that I've spoken to see completely through it. They're not effective the way they've been told they are. So it's but to continue with the answer to your main question there, bars and restaurants are open. Now there are restrictions. They do have a 1.5 meter social distance rule.
Right.
It's not that enforced, to be honest. And there is a curfew at the moment at 10 o'clock. So everyone has to be indoors by 10 o'clock. Now that's only since yesterday. It was 11 o'clock before yesterday, but they brought it down to 10 o'clock now. They are maintaining their numbers. I believe the numbers are very low here, and they're just trying to maintain that.
So you said earlier on that the government are telling lies, and I think you were also saying that they're falsifying the numbers. Where would you have evidence of that?
Well, I could send you the video there of Mr. Leo Varadkar, our then Taoiseach, last year, who basically openly admitted in the Dáil that they were fudging the numbers. They were putting COVID numbers down when people weren't even tested in labs. This video is circulating. I took a video of my friend playing it on his phone just in case the link ever got taken down. So there you have it. You don't have to take my word for it. It's up there. It's on the net. It's circulating.
Yeah, but the deaths weren't. But the deaths weren't lies, or the deaths in nursing homes weren't lies, or things.
Unfortunately, there were deaths, but not to the extent that the government were reporting. This has already been proven. That's why they're referring to this with COVID as opposed to from COVID. You know, they have these numbers hyped up, and again, that's just to justify getting this vaccine rolled out and the whole lot. Hospitals, in particular, were not overrun. And they were not under pressure, as the government reported. And under the Freedom of Information Act, you can pull a document where it actually shows you that there were about 60% occupancy versus over 90% in previous years.
Okay,
so it's actually less.
Okay, but if you believe all of that, right, and you don't believe that COVID is as bad as was being made out, then why take a pandemic unemployment payment then, which is COVID related? Is that not kind of hypocrisy?
Well, one might look at it as hypocrisy, but I certainly don't. My income has stopped. We're not able to generate any revenues because the government shut us down. So therefore, I'm going to take the support as much as I can.
Do you think that a lot of people who are listening to this might be really annoyed, say, for instance, that you're not part of the national effort, but at the same time are secretly very envious of you and wish that they were you?
I think it's the latter, Neil. I think we both agree on that one.
That they think if they had the chance, they'd do exactly like you did.
I'd say the majority of people would, yeah. I mean, I'm over here in a very safe environment, and I'm under no threat, and I'll be tested before I come home. Yeah. I'm going to follow all the rules and guidelines on my journey home, and I'm not doing anything to anyone, and I will be quarantined when I get home because I live alone anyway. Yeah. So I'm not. How is that affecting someone else? Only jealousy, I suppose.
I think they'd be much more annoyed with your man that's shooting over and back to Tenerife, visiting the family, and coming back to Ireland and going back over again. That really is flying in the face of everybody. Your plan is to stay away, is it?
Do you know what, Neil? Unfortunately, my trip now is coming to an end. I'll be returning home in the next few days, preparing to open up because I work in construction, and we do have some projects that need a bit of work on before we get the go ahead. But the government, again, that's if we are allowed on the 5th of April to commence work again. But So I made a decision there only yesterday, I suppose, that I'd be coming home there in the next few days.
Okay. And at that stage, you'll have to find out if you're fined when you come into Dublin Airport. But you're suggesting that even if you did get a fine, that you won't pay it, or they can't prosecute you. They are handing them out, but we don't know how many of them are actually being paid.
I don't think any of them have been paid, to be honest. If I get slapped with a fine, I'll deal with it when it happens, and I'll decide then what course of action I will take in terms of whether paying it or challenging it.
And are you sharing on social media photographs of your life in Tenerife at the moment?
I'm not on any social media, Neil. I'm off social media for the last 5 or 6 years.
That's probably a good thing.
So no, but I do. But I am sharing with some, close friends and family, and it's great to see the reactions. It's mixed responses, mixed reactions. It's quite entertaining, if I'm honest with you.
Be interested to see what the public's response is to this conversation. But slap on the factor 50 or whatever it is you use. Is the sun splitting the stones every day?
Oh, it is. Absolutely. I mean, it's only kind of low 20s, but it feels like high 20s, nearly 30. And, there's a fine tan built up here now at this stage. So you'll know, I know people will be looking at me odd now when I get home. They'll know that I didn't get the tan from Ballybunion or KT, so.
It's not a builder's stand. It's not a farmer's stand.
It's not a builder's stand, but not at all, no.
All right, well, man, enjoy the rest of your time there. We might catch up with you when you get back, all right? Cheers, Dean.
Thanks a million. All the best to you.